أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So welcome to Things My Father Did, another episode in the series. And so in the series, basically, my father's a sociopath, and I recover memories that have been kind of influential in my life and shaping my personality, and kind of share them with people who are victims of sociopathy, so they're relatable stories, basically, that have significant impact, right, on my life. And so basically, I remember one time in this video, I remember this one time, or many times occasionally, where my mom would express a dream. So we'd be going to someone's wedding, and those people would be, about the same as us financially, and they would be maybe having a really nice wedding, right? Someone who's like my dad's financial peer group or my dad's business peer group. And they would be having a really nice wedding for their child or their kids or their daughter or whoever. And my mom would be like, we're gonna have a wedding like this for Omar or me, right, for our son. And my dad would be like, that's not your place. He would tell her, that's not your place, तुम्हारी हैसियत नहीं है, or हमारी हैसियत नहीं है, or something like that. And it used to be like, I used to cringe. Like my mom used to like you could see that it was like, hitting like a dog or something. Like, the emotional impact of it used to be immense. And we'd be on the way to like a social event, and she would have been like happy a moment before, and it would be just like, because my mom came from a very well off, high status kind of family. And I have to say this, like my dad, it wasn't his place to marry her, right? Or the real issue wasn't that it wasn't my mom's place to have good or finer things in life. The issue was it wasn't my dad's place to marry her. And so like he obviously did whatever he had to marry her, but once they were married, he did everything to kind of lower her. And I just remember that he would not. And she's created her own businesses my whole life. I remember her working for herself, having her own businesses, trying to move forward. And he used to convince her to like keep all the money together, and like he would basically take all her money, and once he had taken it, she would never see it again. And like it's not like he would spend it, but he would accrue capital in that way, and then he would do what he wanted with it. She no longer had influence over that money, and he would emotionally blackmail her into doing that. And so it was like her whole life she could never achieve the things she wanted for herself, and that she wanted for me and her other children. It was just never possible for her to do. And initially, she ended up in that position because she was a gynecologist in Pakistan, had a very lucrative and big practice. But the moment that she moved here, he promised her that she could practice in the U.S., and he would facilitate it and stuff. And the moment he moved here, he was so abusive and so isolating of her and so unsupportive. Like she would be getting ready or preparing to take the test, and he would make it impossible for her to take the test. He would just make it impossible. Like he would invite people over, like 10 or 20 people over before the night of the test. He would be emotionally unsupportive of it. He would act like it wasn't a good thing, all these things. And she doesn't have any friends here. She doesn't have any family here, and she went from being a high status individual in Pakistan to being in southern Louisiana and New Orleans on the West Bank, and not having a lot of status, and not having a network of people around her. And if you go from being very privileged to that, like it's difficult to enact something for yourself. And so I just remember, so going back to that being the context, like every time my mom expressed her dreams or like what she wanted for herself, like authentically and honestly from a place who she is, he would just tell her, it's not your place, or it's not our place. I've heard him saying both. So it's like, it's तुम्हारी हैसियत नहीं है, हमारी हैसियत नहीं है. It's like, it's not your place, it's not our place, you know. And I just remember my mom, like, just like, you know, like I just, that's what I remember.